Thank you for joining our Google Maps breakout session today. I am Gianluca Olivieri. I'm part of the Google Maps sales team here in Europe, and we have the pleasure today to have our product manager from Mountain View, who is Amit Litsur from Mountain View, who is not feeling very good now, but he joined us anyway. So we have three main objectives of this session today. First of all, we want to set the context of Google Maps in today's world, including some of the latest trends that we see from the market. Secondly, we want to share with you what changed with the new Google Maps platform. And we're going to share with you some of the coolest cases we have all around the globe. And finally, we want to share with you what's coming next, which is, of course, the next step for us. Today, Google Maps is celebrating its 13th anniversary. And since the beginning, we had the ambitious goal to assist people as they navigate and explore the world. And this is, again, the 13th year now. Now, let's take a look about this image. And raise your hand if you remember this web page. Do you? So this was back in 2005. It was the first public Google Maps release public. And it was a static map that was reloading every time you were moving the cursor or zooming in or zooming out. And it was absolutely disrupting back those days. Looking at the Google Maps today, it's pretty clear how far we have come. We added a huge amount of content on our maps, starting from mapping any kind of streets, satellite images, street view content, which is going from along the streets, even up to the slopes in the mountains, and even below the ocean, as it happened for the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. So let's take a look at the sneak peek of this journey through this video.
It has changed Nigeria so much, and you can actually be part of it.
Being able to be armed with the knowledge of where you're going, you're going to be able to get there like anybody else can.
2 consecutive earthquakes hit Mexico City, and Google Map held a response to emergency crises like this.
The hurricane had turned Houston into islands, and the roads were changing constantly. We kept saying, thank God for Google. Like, what would we have done?
It's really cool that this is helping people to keep doing what they love doing and keep doing what they need to do.
So we spent a lot of time to understand why people rely so much on Google Maps and love so much our products. And we came across to three main reasons why everybody loves Google Maps so much. The first reason is our real-time, very accurate data. We do have over 25 million updates every day, which are coming from several sources, including, for example, our local community guide, which is absolutely hyperactive. Also coming from the Google My Business, from all the merchants from all around the globe, which are enhancing and enriching our maps. And finally, also from our users, which of course are submitting reviews and also improving our maps. The second reason is definitely our scale and velocity. From anywhere in the world, if you're using Google Maps, you can rely on a very scalable and reliable system. We're counting over 1 billion monthly users on a monthly basis today. And finally, we are very, very well positioned for the coverage. We are covering over 99% of the globe, which includes Antarctica, the Northern Lights in Finland, and many, many other remote places. Now, why location is important? And let's reflect on something. Do you feel you have more time or less time than 5 years ago? And do you feel you have more patience or less patience to wait your taxi after you call it with your ride-sharing app? Don't know you, but I definitely have less patience and less time. And that's why we all agree that our expectation are just higher today. And we expect technology just to make it work without worrying too much about the back end of this. That's why location becomes as more relevant than ever before. But let's take a look of a typical day in 2018. So we wake in the morning. If we have a smart alarm in our house, we can set up the alarm time based on the distance of the first appointment of the day. So I can sleep more if my first appointment is very close to my house, or I can sleep less if it's very, very far. Then I can order my taxi through my ride-sharing app, and then I can maybe check in when is the best hour of the day to go to have lunch, thanks to the popular time in Google Maps to avoid queuing. Then I can take my car with Android Auto that drives me home, and maybe if I have a smart device at home like Nest, my heating at home can switch on before I arrive at home, so my home can be warm before arriving there. And finally, I can order my food delivery at home, as we've done with the taxi. And for the one that loved it, even Tinder after dinner, which is absolutely a location-based app as well. So all of this can happen because everything is connected today. It's a very leitmotif of all this event, but everything is connected. Let me ask you, how many devices you think we have on average per person today? Any guess? 2, 3, 4, 5. We do have 3.2 devices per person on average today. And this number should double in a couple of years, which is really, really incredible. And on top of those devices, of course, the prince of all, which is the mobile, which is never further than our pocket. And we can do everything, just everything with our mobile phone. On top of this, it's pretty clear how cloud technologies is improving on a daily basis. It's pretty clear from the size of this event, and things like AR, VR, machine learning, those technologies are just improving on a daily basis and are allowing companies to solve more complex problems than ever before. Now, we just take a look of the consumer side of Google Maps, but we all know that our technology, which is the same that populates our apps, can be used from companies through our APIs. And the message we'd like to share with you is that Google Maps is much more than a pin on a map. And while store locator and the basic usage of maps is very common, everybody knows it, the message today is that through our technology, you can do much, much more. You can really disrupt industry. You can really use these ingredients to solve bigger problems. And we've seen our technology to do several things, like build better customer experiences, as it happened for Kayak, Skyscanner, or Ryanair, that just improved their usability of their website thanks to our Maps technology. Or looking at, for example, operations. Many customers were able to optimize and streamline operations. Companies like DHL Logistics, which are improving their efficiency of the system based on our real traffic data. Or also Glovo, which is our very successful startup in Barcelona, which is using our traffic data to organize their dispatches. Finally, we've seen our technology to be used to enable strategic decision-making. And we see this more and more. Some example here, for example, real estate companies that use our technology to understand where to open the next mall, for example. Or insurance companies that are taking our geographic data to profile and improve the profilation of their customer base. Or even a very good case that we're seeing in Southern Europe, which is of firemen. Firemen that are taking our real-time traffic data to decide which truck to send in order to put out the fire. So it's pretty clear that our technology can make $1, save $1, or even saving lives. Now, over to Amit now, that is going to share with you what changed and how this can be useful for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Gianluca.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you again. Hi, my name is Amit Litsur. I'm the product manager for Google Maps platform. Really excited to see so many of you here, and hopefully you can also hear me despite all the noise around us. It's kind of an interesting sight to see all of you with headset. So if you don't hear me, someone at least be polite and raise your hand. All right. We are really, really excited to be here and share with you some of the objectives we had behind launching the Google Maps platform. And after that, we'll also talk about 3 customer stories. And we'd like to share with you how some of our customers are using our platform to dramatically improve their business and have a real impact to their bottom line. But first, maybe a quick raise of hands. I think I recognize a few of you, but not all of you. Anyone is currently using any of our products? If you don't mind, raise your hands. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. So back in 2005, as you saw earlier on the slide that Gianluca presented, we started with a very, very basic product, which evolved over the years to a suite of 18 APIs. Those APIs today power more than 2 million websites and apps. It's been a phenomenal journey, and we'd like to thank you for taking part in this chapter of our evolution. Thank you. So now what's next? With Google Maps platform, we set, for the most part, to tackle 3 main objectives. Number 1, we want to simplify our product and our business terms. Number 2, we created a tighter integration with Google Cloud Platform, also known as GCP. Probably you've heard that acronym today quite a lot of times. And third, we introduced vertical solutions. We'll touch upon each one of those later in following slides. And all of those objectives was in the effort to make your experience better so you can deploy faster, and above all, make sure we can scale to your needs. So let me quickly take you through our 3 guiding principles that we always kept at the back of our mind as we're looking to make this transition. Start with simple. After 13 years of a product in the market, I don't know if any of you have a 13-year-old product or a 13-year-old kid, our product and our business term evolved to something that wasn't very simple. With Google Maps platform, we organize our products to 3 core products, and we'll talk about it more in the next slide. We also dramatically simplified our business terms to a single and simple pricing plan. Just like GCP, you'll be billed on a monthly basis, only based on the usage that you actually consumed. No need for annual commitments, termination fee, or change in your plan based on your usage. It's just going to grow and scale to your needs. Moreover, we now provide all of you a free access to our Google customer support, because we want to treat all customers, from a small emerging startup to a well-established enterprise, like an enterprise customer. And I would urge you to take advantage of this wonderful benefit and make sure you make the best out of our platform. That was simple. What about scalable? Google is known to be scalable. So we want to keep pushing that envelope and see how far we can go. We want to make sure that when you develop on our product, you don't need to worry about usage spikes. You don't need to worry about usage caps. Or if your users evolve, you don't need to rush and make a conversation or change your implementation. It will just go and scale to your needs. Last but not least, better with cloud. We're here today, so probably there's a reason for that. In the last year and a half, we had a tremendous effort to make sure that our entire suite of products is leveraging GCP. What that means is our product now, just like any other GCP product, leverage the same console, the same tracking, the same billing systems, so you can enjoy a one Google experience across all of your cloud offering, and can enjoy the synergy between those products. For example, you can now use Stackdriver to track your Places API usage and analyze it the same way how you analyze any of your other cloud services. Let's talk a little bit about our products. I'll start with Maps. right? Google Maps is mostly known for maps. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we organize our suite of APIs to 3 core building blocks. And we see customers using them in various ways. Moreover, we heard you that you want to be able to use sometimes one of those or 2 of those separately from the others. So for example, you can now use places information or routes information outside of the map, similar to how the Italian Highway Agency is now developing smart signs to show the arrival times with no maps, right? So you can use each one of those separately. Maps, you can now, just like before, can start, develop your application based on Google Dynamics Maps and use that as your starting point. We also provide Google Static Maps, Satellite View, and 360 Panorama, all to make sure you can build as rich of an experience as you can directly within your site or app, and don't lose users that they need to switch back and forth between your experience and figure out where that place in the real world. Next is routes. Google tremendous assets of understanding real-world traffic is in your hands. Whether you want to optimize your fleet management or you want to help your users to move from A to B, you can leverage our APIs in various ways and make sure you get the best of the same routing capabilities that consumers have in Google Maps mobile. Last but not least is places. And I assume even some of you probably would ask yourself, hey, there are quite a few devices in the market that provide the lat long of a given place. And that is true, and it's wonderful. But our Places product go way beyond what is the lat long. Our Places API allow you to understand at a given time which business that is, right? And at the same lat long, during daytime and during nighttime, it could be a different business. Moreover, the API allows you to get the latest and accurate contact information. How does this business look from the street? And many, many more attributes. And all, again, in the effort to make sure you allow your users to discover the real world directly from your experience. Next, I would like to share with you 3 really, really interesting customer stories about how some of our customers use those 3 building blocks to dramatically change their business. My Taxi. Anyone know My Taxi? Have you used it here in Europe? You tried it once, full disclosure. So My Taxi provides a service to connect passengers with professional taxi drivers using a mobile app. It operates in many of the large European cities, I think about 70 of them. And when they started, they were looking to see how they can make the experience better. So let's quickly take a quick peek on how the experience works for those who are not familiar with the service. Consumers in their mobile app can request for a ride and can see when the driver is arriving to pick them up. The driver then pick the passenger, and all within the app, they can facilitate the transaction. What My Taxi did here, they replaced the old model of a centralized dispatching service and directly connected passengers to driver. And through that, have been revolutionizing the taxi industry in Europe. But they decided they're going to do more than just optimizing the ordering process. They wanted to optimize the entire experience end to end. They were looking to make sure that when a passenger is calling for a ride, they'll have a very accurate arrival time of the taxi. They want to make sure that when the taxi driver comes to pick up the passenger, they actually know where the passenger is, and they don't waste minutes frustrated to figure out where exactly that person is. Are they on one side of the building or the other? My Taxi was able to leverage Google Maps platform to achieve all of that. And when we asked them, what was the impact has been phenomenal. First, they were able to deploy a working service within 40 development hours, which is a phenomenal number. Second, thanks to the familiar experience of Google Maps, they're able to enjoy a fast growth, and they now have about 10 million users on their mobile app. And last but not least, which brought phenomenal boost to their bottom line, is 23% of improvement in arrival time. And if you're standing in the rain in the corner of a building, plus minus 3 minutes can make a huge difference whether you end up using this service next time or not. Next, let's switch from taxi to banking. Sterling Bank, anyone familiar with that? Do we have customers here in the audience? Okay, so if I get something wrong, I may ask you to come and explain, maybe even demo. Sorry. So Sterling Bank started about 4 years ago. 3 years later, they were able to get their license, and shortly thereafter, they launched, which is a phenomenal timeline. And they launched in the form of a mobile app. This is a mobile-only bank. And they were looking to make anything about consumer banking experience dramatically smarter, thanks to mobile technology and location. Does this look familiar? It's not me. This guy has way more hair. But the statement here is actually of one of us. Maybe this will be a good quiz for any of you to figure out who that is. Very common experience for many customers is to read once in a while their statement just to realize they don't understand some of those transactions. And what you end up doing, you either get frustrated and give up, it's not worth my time, or unfortunately for the bank, you end up calling them. You call their support. And as it turned out, statement issues is the main reason for customers to call bank's customer support. And when each of those calls costs $15, that's a huge burden on the bank. So what did Sterling Bank do? When they realized that's one of the key problems, they're looking for a way that when you see a statement, it will be actually a human-readable statement. What you want to see in the statement, you want to see the actual business name, the same name that I saw on the storefront, that I can recognize, and it will actually be nice to see where the transaction took place to help me remember what just happened. So Sterling Bank was able to achieve just that. When you're making a transaction, Sterling Bank sends a notification to your mobile app. That notification, when you as a consumer confirm that, start a process in the Sterling Bank app that calls Google Places API and Google Geocoding API to figure out where that location is. What's the name of that business? What is the contact of the business? And as more and more customers are making transactions in a given business, Sterling Bank mapping between the real name and whatever financial ID that they have of that institution becomes better and better. And when you look at that into your statement, they actually show you what you're expecting to see, which is the business name, the contact information, and where they are on the map. That's a phenomenal mind shift change thanks to the fact of them being mobile-first experience. And last but not least, I want to share with you a little bit about a company from another continent, from the US, Vagabond. I would guess none of you heard about it unless you work with them directly. Vagabond was looking to provide a complete solution for vending machine companies, for vending machine operators, from technology, operation, and commerce. And you may ask yourself, how hard is it to run a vending machine, right? You just need to dispense the soda I requested and give me the change I'm deserved. But when you're trying to think, okay, what if I want to manage a few more vending machines? What if I want to manage 100 vending machines? What if it's 1,000? Or in their case, close to 5,000 vending machines throughout the North America, of like US, Canada, and Mexico. Now it becomes a very, very large challenge. And technology can make a huge difference on your bottom line and make sure you don't get stuck with very long, complicated spreadsheets. So what Vagabond was looking to do was to build a network of smart vending machines. What you might have heard, Internet of Things, or IoT. So all of their vending machines are connected to a command center. And at real time, they report their inventory level, real-time transactions, and how much change they have in a machine. So at a later time, a dispatcher can decide which machine needs to be serviced. But they also needed something else. They also need a location platform. So when a machine is installed, they can actually accurately pinpoint where the machine is. Imagine someone will install a vending machine here in Excel. If you are the dispatching driver who come to service it, running between one side of Excel to the other is 10 to 20 minutes. If you don't know where the machine is in the building, you're going to waste a lot of time. So to achieve both of those, they end up using Google Maps platform. They use Maps JavaScript API to have their command center to visualize where the machines are. And each machine is annotated with real-time information. When an installer comes and places a vending machine, They use our geocoding API to pinpoint where the machine is and places to capture that location. So at a later time, when they're dispatching a service person, they can not only route them to the building, but also route them where in the building the machine is. And the impact, absolutely phenomenal. They're able to drive the profit margins of the vending machines operator 8x. So instead of 2.5%, which is the industry average, it's able to bring it to 20%. Absolutely amazing impact to the bottom line. And with that, I'd like to hand it back to Gianluca to share with you a little bit about what's coming ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we've seen how technology can be used in several sectors, and we brought today 3 examples. We spent the last 2 years in understanding how Google Maps was used by our customer across the globe. And we discovered that for certain specific categories, our technology could do much, much more. And that's why we decided to launch the industry solutions. Let's take a look about a couple of examples where we built on a product based on the customer needs. So we just mentioned about MyTaxi, which is a well-known ride-sharing company. We spent a lot of time with the most innovative firms in this field to understand which was the full flow of a ride-sharing, let's say, process. And from the beginning to the end, we discovered that the drivers, especially during the pickup time or drop-off time, they were spending a lot of time in switching up between the ride-sharing app and the navigation app. If we imagine this multiplied by thousands and thousands of rides per day, that was absolutely an inefficiency of the system that we could definitely improve. That's why we decided to launch a navigation SDK which allows this company to integrate their own data of pickup and drop-off time together with the navigation of Google Maps. And we're already seeing in these first months very, very good results in this field. Another example is gaming. And gaming is just a huge industry. We all know games like Star Wars or Warcraft or Street Fighter. They used to be 2D game modeling in a flat screen. And then fast forward, something happened with the event of Grand Theft Auto 5. GTA 5 was one of the first game engines that built a 3D gaming experience based on the Manhattan area. That was an amazing, disruptive things back those days. So with the arrival of very powerful devices, we receive a higher demand from developers to merge gaming together with their work data. So that's why gamers and developers, they started to ask this kind of platform. And looks like Google Maps has all this data. That's why we decided to launch the Google Gaming offering. Let's take a look about this in this video. So we wanted to solve 2 main problems on with this product. First, we want to give developers the ability to build gaming solution, gaming experiences on top of Google Maps data. And we did it thanks to an SDK built on Unity, which is the most popular gaming engine today. But we also wanted to solve another issue, which is playable location. Playable location is where to send people to play, which sounds a very easy problem to solve, but it's definitely not. It's plenty of places which are private, which are not safe, and those locations can change on a daily basis, on a hourly basis. A very easy playable park during the day can become an abandoned place during the nighttime. That's why we decided to launch an SDK, which is a playable location SDK, which allows developer to list the playable location based on their needs. So based on a filter that a developer can curve. Now, let's take a look about this video as well. Yeah. So now over to Amit to see what's on the horizon. Where is the direction that Google Maps is taking in this field? Amit?
Awesome. Thank you, Gianluca. And wow, that looks exciting. Maybe it's time for me to make my own dinosaur. Let's see. But before we get too lost in Fantasyland, we want to talk to you through a couple of the big challenges that we heard from you and how we're thinking about them. Again, no promises. This is on the horizon in the future. I just want to tee up some of those conversations. First, we're going to talk about IoT, Internet of Things. In many industries, knowing where your items or assets or machines can be a critical input to have an efficient product or an efficient solution. Customers are already using today our products in various ways for IoT solutions, and we're looking to work closely with GCP to see how far we can push the boundaries and provide you a more comprehensive solution across cloud services and geo services. Logistics. Logistics takes all the challenges that you have in IoT about knowing where your assets are, where your trucks are, but now it adds more complexity. Now everything is moving, and knowing how they move and when they will arrive to their destination and will they arrive on time is critical input to an efficient supply chain. As I mentioned earlier, yes, we already know that some of customers are using our core products to address some of those challenges, and they build on top of that their own solution. We're looking to see how far we can stretch our own capabilities to move from data to an actual services, solutions, and insight, so your logistics solution can be deployed faster and smarter. So stay tuned for more updates on that front. And last but not least, I want to mention about location insights. We've heard from quite a few of you that the data that Google has, the model of the real world, can help support very strategic decisions. And we're looking for ways to see how we can help you address those questions. For example, we started to partner on a pilot basis with several cities that are thinking about urban planning and with insurance companies that are looking to optimize their risk return and see how Google models of the real world plus machine learning models can help customers get the answer that they need to run their business. And with that, I would like to wrap our conversation about future products and call out that as part of what makes Google special is us continue to innovate and look for new ways to provide you better experiences and broader coverage. For example, we heard from quite a few of you that emerging market is important for your business. And we're looking for ways to make sure our products on the edge of innovation are available everywhere. And with that, I would like to wrap our talk and first of all remind you that we have ice cream in our booth. So hopefully there's still some left. There is. Excellent. But maybe before you dash towards our booth, I would like again to thank you and welcome you to come talk to us. We would love to hear what you have in your mind, ideas or questions, and how we can help you solve your business problems. Thank you.
Thank you.